Remember?
The same bracelet. She has the same bracelet on that you bought for me from Singapore. You can take a picture. But the same bracelet? How long? How long?
She's pregnant.
Wait. You say what?
She's pregnant and she doesn't want to abort it.
She's pregnant? Again? Again! Not the first time, not the second time, not the third time, not the fourth time. Take your nonsense out of the church, inside the church choir. Again! You have constantly cheated. It's not okay, but inside the church, kilo dinner. Why? Why? The movie begins with Moji telling Pastor Solomon that she is pregnant. He panics and advises her to terminate the baby, but she refuses. She tries to convince him that she cannot get rid of the baby because of a dream she had. Moji is a choir leader in the church. Pastor David, who is also Pastor Solomon's brother, comes in, asking him to give him one of the branches to oversee, but Pastor Solomon refuses, telling him that he is not qualified or good enough to handle the branch. This stirs up some resentment in David. He tells his wife about it, and together they came up with a plan to send the picture of Moje to Dupe, so she will discover her husband's secret affair. Dupe, on the other hand, is outside the church, talking to one of the female members, who is complaining about her husband's infidelity. She refers the woman to another pastor for counseling, assuring her that her marital issues will be resolved. Rita is staring at Paul, who is Pastor Solomon's only child, with pity. According to her, he wasn't always like this. He used to be a very sweet and energetic boy who suddenly became unable to do anything for himself. He was always kind to her, and for that reason, she feels sorry for him. Dupe is staring at the picture of Moji when her husband walks in. She confronts him, demanding to know how long they have been seeing each other. At first, he tries to deny it, but she points out that Moji is wearing the same bracelet he bought for her from Singapore. Left with no more choice, he finally confesses, admitting that Moji is pregnant. Dupe is heartbroken because this isn't the first time he has cheated on her. He blames it on the devil and explains that Moji refuses to terminate the pregnancy. Dupe tells him that they are going to fix this problem permanently. Quick disclaimer, this recap is not meant to replace the original movie. Hallelujah is showing on EbonyLifeonplus TV. If you are new here, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you and welcome. The lady from church meets up with the pastor for counseling. After the section, she pleads with him not to tell her husband or anyone else about what they discussed. He promised to keep everything confidential, but the moment she walks out of the office, he picks up his phone and sends a message to someone. So, this pastor uses confidential information or secrets of people and blackmail them. These two men have come to see Dupe. She instructs them to make Moji disappear permanently. You already know what that means. As she's talking to them, her housekeeper overhears the conversation. The two men head to Moji's apartment. They tell her that Pastor Solomon sent them to see her. As she's letting them in, they attack her. After killing her, they wrapped her body in the red carpet and take her out of the apartment. Dupe informed her husband that Moji has been taken care of permanently. He is terrified. As much as he wanted to keep the news of her pregnancy from getting out, he never wanted Moji's death. But Dupe believes her death is the best solution to the problem. Dupe is later seen in a shrine where a priest performs an incantation on her. At the same time, her son is lying on the floor with his hand tied. This is another shocking revelation. Could Dupe be the cause of her son's condition? Moji's death has been reported to the police after a fisherman discovered her body in a red carpet. Inspector Anu, the detective in charge of the case, says the investigation will begin at the church because of the church bracelet Moji was wearing when she died. Dupe has finished feeding her son when Pastor Solomon looked at the boy with so much concern and asked, "How can we love and serve God so much, yet he allows this to happen to us?" Dupe ignores him and continues eating. The news of the death of Moji reaches the church, and of course, Pastor Solomon is visibly shaking. Dupe slaps him, telling him to get himself together. She also coaches him on what to say. Officer Anu questioned Pastor Solomon about his relationship with the deceased. His response were calm and composed, with nothing particularly suspicious. She also questioned some members of the church and some pastors, but one woman gives a different version of their relationship, although it is dismissed as hearsay. This night, Rita is turning off the lights in the house when she notices that Paul's bedroom door is open. As she goes to close it, she sees Dupe holding a calabash while making incantation over Paul's head. Rita is completely shocked. The next morning, she tells Shina about what she saw, but he refuses to believe her. He refuses to believe that a mother would deliberately harm her own son. Rita insists that they need to get Paul out of his house, away from his mother, but Shina refuses, not because he doesn't care about Paul, but because he loves Rita too much to let her put herself in danger. Meanwhile, this blackmailing pastor has already started demanding 5 million naira from the woman who came to him earlier for counseling. Terrified, she ran to him for advice, not knowing he is the very person behind the blackmail. Ironically, he also advised her to pay the money. Officer Anu continues interrogating Pastor Solomon. She asks if he was sleeping with Moji, but he denies it. She then reveals the autopsy, confirming that Moji was pregnant and that a DNA test will be done to determine the father of the fetus. Pastor Solomon tells his wife what the officer had said, but she reassures him that since Moji was barely 2 weeks gone, that the baby's DNA cannot be determined. Now, let's go back to 3 years ago where it all began. Pastor Solomon is furious after not being appointed the general overseer despite all his hard work. He believes he deserves the position more than the pastor who was chosen. Dupe visits this traditional priest, a Baba, and she explains how tired she is of poverty and how she wants her husband to become the general overseer of the church. The Baba tells her that what she seeks for is very difficult, but it's not impossible. However, it will require blood. The blood of someone close to her. Desperate, she agrees. The priest gives her an handkerchief and instructs her to use it on the chosen person. According to him, the person will not die, but he will become useless for the rest of his life. Dupe follows his instruction. Just after she had done the ritual, a phone call came to Pastor Solomon's phone. The general overseer has stepped down and recommended Pastor Solomon as his replacement. Well, that happened quickly. Back to the present, 2 men are packing Moji's belongings. One of them finds her phone and wants to keep it, but the other insists that they give it to her sister, reminding him that it belongs to a dead person. Reluctantly, he hands it over to Moji's sister. She takes the phone and straight up she took it to the police and gives it to Officer Anu. This blackmailing pastor has finally collected the money from the woman. He plans to open his own church, making his wife the counselor so that they can continue their blackmailing business. His wife is not comfortable with the idea, but he assures her they are not going to do it forever, that it is just going to be at the starting point of their church. She is ready to run away with Paul, but Shino stops her. He explains the consequences of what she's planning. In his word, Dupe is still Paul's mother, and he cannot simply run away from her. While scrolling through her phone, Rita suddenly comes across the news of Moji's death. Pastor Solomon is talking with his brother, Pastor David, when the police officer arrives and arrests him for the murder of Moji. Inspector Anu has recovered the chat between him and Moji from her phone. Chaos erupts in the church as they led him away in the police van. During the interrogation, Pastor Solomon finally admits that they were lovers, but insists he did not kill her. Rita manages to get Officer Anu's phone number. Anonymously, she tells her what she overheard the day the two men came to the house. She doesn't reveal her identity or mention who her employer is. She simply gives the name of the two men. Soon after, one of Moji's neighbors comes forward to describe seeing two men carrying what looks like a heavy rolled-up carpet that night. Combining the neighbor's description with the name Rita provided, the Officer Anu is able to identify one of the suspects. After this confession, Dupe is arrested while Pastor Solomon is released. But there is a problem. Dupe desperately needs to feed her son. She borrows her cellmate phone to send a message home warning Rita not to feed Paul the following morning. She even begs DPO to let her go home to feed her son, or allow him to be brought to the station so she can feed him, but her request is denied. Now, you are probably wondering why she's so desperate to feed her son herself. Well, that is what we are about to find out. This blackmailing pastor and his accomplice are still carrying out their scheme, but this time, things go terribly wrong. Someone follows the woman to her house, shoots her dead, and walk away. Since Paul has been left hungry for long, Rita decides to feed him. As soon as he starts eating, he suddenly cries out in pain before he collapses. Pastor Solomon is summoned before the church disciplinary committee and is voted out as the general overseer. Even his own brother votes against him. As Rita desperately tries to call for help, Paul suddenly wakes up. For the first time in 3 years, he speaks. Now, here is why Dupe was so anxious to feed her son that morning. Remember 3 years ago, when Dupe visited the traditional priest, yes, the Baba, he told her that she must feed him every morning. She must be the one to feed him every morning. That if she ever fails to feed him any morning, that she's going to run mad and her husband will die. Right there in the prison cell, she begins to act strange, like a mad woman. Pastor Solomon confronts his brother for betraying him. During their heated argument, David pushes Solomon. He collapses and dies. Paul is confused and asks how much time has passed because according to him, he remembers nothing, absolutely nothing from the last 3 years. He wants to know what happened. At Solomon's funeral, we see the Baba standing outside as Dupe is escorted into the police van. The man arrested for Muje's murder suddenly loses his mind and he dies in the prison. With no witness left, Dupe is released due to lack of evidence or witness. I still have a lot of questions. When and how did Dupe recover from her madness? And why was she released so easily? Well, the story continues because this is only the first season of the movie. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more movie recap. Thank you for watching.